And we're live. Hello, everyone. So I'm Anastasia Grace, and we're here with Xenia, my business partner and co-founder of Fall in Love with Sales, to chat. What is it all about, and what does it mean to have to change the meaning of sales?
And we're very excited. We haven't been pretty much sleeping probably for the last 5 days and working on the content and really having most incredible findings, most incredible things that come to us and realizations and perspective on sales. And I think, that's been obsession of mine for over 10 years, and I absolutely love the industry, and my whole goal of it was just to change the perception of the industry and not to have that icky feeling when people think about sales or salespeople, and not really hearing from incredible business owners that, I'm not good at sales, or I don't really like sales, or sales are not for me. While I personally understand that sales is for everyone. It is incredible, most natural skill set to have. And it's just the way how we think about it and what industry has been putting out there, and unfortunately how it's been letting down the people who are in the industry and without even them realizing it. So I think for us now, coming together and kind of really wanting to change the perception of the industry and give it back to the industry that can transform your life, which is done for me also, but also took away a lot of things as well. And I think, Nastasia, how are we changing the meaning of sales, and what does that mean? So what does a sale mean to start with? What is a sale?
Well, the whole world is changing, right? So the old ways soon are not going to be the same, and whatever worked before is not going to work. So now it is time to start looking at our interactions and the way we do business in a different way. Sale, to answer your question, a sale is an exchange, and first and foremost, it's an energetic exchange, and it's exchange of value. So why we are changing the meaning of sales is to remove the old stigma, remove the old ways of being interacting with the business, with our customers, and remove those fears and those icky feelings, as you said, away from the whole interactions, because it's not what it's all about. It's not, and the way the businesses are going to be created soon is going to completely change. Yes, now we already have a lot of social enterprises, and we already have a lot of green companies and people that are out there to change the world. But soon it's going to become a norm. Even now, it's more like a movement, and people just trying to bring the change. However, the new way of doing business is going to be completely different. Look at our millennials; they already do not trust media. They already don't trust the messages. They don't trust social media. Whatever they see, they don't trust anymore. They're not so brainwashed like previous generations, and they're not so controlled anymore. So it's all going to be coming through, inspiration, soul, call it whatever, your heart, whatever you call it, your spirit. What is that would be the essence of starting the business or starting the sales interactions, versus greed-driven, fear-driven. I have to go in for it. I need to make this sale. Otherwise, I will be punished, or I will suffer from lack of money, lack of achievement, and so on and so forth. So we are moving from fear-based reality into inspiration, into joy, into creativity-based business. And in that space, sale is not what we know it to be. In that space, sale is the presentation of, this is my gift, this is my value. Is that something you need? Let's check, let's see if what I've got is suitable for you. Does that reflect your values and needs? And then it's up to you to say, to check in with yourself and go yes or no. However, there is no fear or manipulation or any kind of ickiness around it. It's clean. The energy of exchange is clean.
And the manipulation is a big word in sales, because I think, you know, personally, being a recovered salesperson, I can definitely say that it came with a lot of manipulation. When you're actually in that magician, it can turn into a very manipulative way of existing. It's the communication becomes very agenda driven. So I always, like, you become like always have an outcome. You're constantly assessing how the person can help you or not help you. You constantly, like, it's all coming from up here, and then becoming a very mind driven communication. I personally remember, like, you know, listening to someone, I couldn't listen to what the person's saying without thinking already what I'm going to say next, right? And I think a lot of sales right now, teachings are coming from the mindset, coming from, you know, what to say, how to trick you. And then it also comes with a little bit of a arrogance feel, I guess, rather than thinking, I want to empower the person through communication. I want to empower them through their purchasing process, right? And also, you know, there's so many teachings right now that's saying about, like, we're going to teach you selling without selling, right? And we're going to teach you with, you know, great morals and ethics. And it's true, but yet it still comes from a mind, and it still has a level of manipulation. So how to stay away from that, and how does a sale mean? How can a sale be different, I guess?
Well, in a way, the sale can be different if two people come into the space fully aligned with themselves and fully aligned with their values, and making sure they're not driven by their, you know, what's it called shadow in the healing world. But you can describe it as those heavy dark emotions, and that heavy feelings, everything that makes you heavy, like neediness, greed, fear, you know, it's just like desire to grab on, or need for approval seeking. You know, they need to be liked, and everything that is not coming from your aligned, empowered state will you know, will make this exchange not real. It's not real. It's an illusion of something. So when both people come into the space of exchange or presentation from that clean space, I know who I am, and I know what my needs are, what my values are at this particular moment, which is unfortunately a very little percentage of people actually know who they truly are. Usually it happens, like, this awakening comes later in life, and it comes through a certain you know, struggle in life, or a big event where a person might lose business, money, family, reputation, or car crash, when they have to face with the fact, who am I? However, I'm loving a new generation. My son is 18, and when I ask him about, like, his values and what he represents, I'm in awe. I was like, every time I go, like, oh my God, I wish I was like you when I was 18. You know, I had no clue. I was so like lost and dependent, and kind of driven by everything else but my own true essence. So that would be the step number one: empowering yourself. empowering myself. And that's what we teaching and will be teaching in our courses. So that's where it all starts. It starts with you.
And that's the thing. So I think what you're saying, the values and the importance of values and needs, and what a sale process is pretty much aligning when the customer, potentially customer, or we're going to be calling it investor. And I totally have a deja vu right now, by the way. I feel like it's, you know, like I have dreamt about it already, that I was having that live or something. It's fascinating. Like, we're going to be changing the whole language and terminology that we use in the sales industry. And the reason why, because that terminology has been so outdated. It has been used for years, and also it has a level of anchoring already in people to have that comes already with preconceived, I guess, thoughts about how it has to go about, right? So for us, our sale is going to be an exchange, and it is an exchange. It is an exchange either of value, of time, of investment, or whatnot, right? Then there's exchange of the money, or someone's time and passion, or exchange just an energy exchange, right? Then the sales process is going to be aligning with the values and needs. It's the person who's potentially wants to buy, or we're going to call it invest, so that person is actually an investor, because the person is not buying, they're investing in themselves, they're investing in you, they invest in their time, money, effort. And you doing this exactly the same thing potentially. If you actually give them your product, they're investing in your product, so you can continuously keep building your business, or keep building what you actually are passionate about. So there's going to be an investor, and an investor actually, through the sales process, as we used to call it, the investor is going to be either seeing if the product is aligned or not aligned with their values and needs. And the reality of it, that more and more people right now are so much more aligned with what's really important to them, and they're buying or investing in something not just because they want to emotionally, or or because someone manipulated them into buying something, but it's because right now it's more and more of genuine assessment. Is it actually aligned with what I want right now? Is it a priority for me right now? And I think, it doesn't matter what we can actually say to them and how can we manipulate them, but more and more that will not work, because the mind activity will not work anymore. It has to be coming through more of a passion, more authenticity. And I guess for us, the presenter, or they used to be called salespeople, or sales or sellers, right? It's going to be a presenter. If they present in the most authentic, genuine, and vulnerable way, and yes, the old tricks, they do work, and I know that the closing and all that, they do work
for
now.
A while, only for a while, and only on a certain type of people and on a certain generation. As you will start seeing and noticing that if you try to use old tricks on younger generation, they actually might laugh in your face, because
100%.
and I've seen it again and again, as speaking to younger people, they see through it. That's
100%.
why it's not working.
I spoke to a lady yesterday, and then like a bit while ago, and she was like, I always leave the cart. So for example, when she goes to purchase something, she leaves the cart because she knows that a day later she's going to get a discount. Right? So which means that, people use that. They understand the whole fear of loss. They understand that, the last week and all these things like that. Yes, they used to work, because psychologically we do not want to have a fear of missing out or not. But there's more and more information out there. People see through that, alternative closes and things like that. And eventually, I had my partner was on the sales calls yesterday, and then he felt that the person knew the thing that they were using, and he could not continue with using that sales technique, because he knew that if he does, the customer will be lost forever. He just said, look, hey, completely honestly, it's like, hey, don't worry about it, we're going to have this this special again, and look, you're on the system, don't worry about it. And it couldn't. The person actually felt through the system, and he was saying, he's like, I feel pressure. And it wasn't through the what my partner was saying, it's through the whole system that used to work really well. Right now, people feel that and see through that, especially people who are more and more in touch with their feelings and emotions, and they're more and more in touch with who they are and what's important to them. They understand, like, you see the people who are actually trying to manipulate.
Absolutely. And this scarcity mentality has to go. It has created enough trouble for us, for the humanity, for society, for people. It has created enough. So it needs to start changing into more expanded state, so where you actually expand and grow and feel empowered from the communication of this in this exchange, rather walk away or it's like I'm because I'm still reactive to this. Just the other day, like my client was trying to get on a discovery call, and my partner was getting on a discovery call and said, don't buy anything. So it's like there's this expectation that you're going to be convinced somehow, and and why are we working with women? Because we want to open up this space for women, so less fear is created. So many women tell us, I hate sales, I don't like it, I stay away from it, I don't want to do it. And that's very unfortunate, because they're closing down from the exchange. And we're opening it back again with the honesty and integrity and authenticity.
And 100%. And with feminine, the whole, a lot of manipulation and a lot of, it's not even manipulation, the word, it's not the right word, I guess, it's the mind game is very, very, it can be a lot to take in. And eventually being a woman and actually operating out of the space is extremely exhausting, because then you kind of switch off the mind and heart connection completely, because, you cannot be in touch with the emotions. And personally, I just couldn't, because a lot of it is, you just have to be positive. There are so many positive affirmations in sales, and you're working on your mindset, but you're working on your mindset without actually being in touch with your emotions so often. And it's impossible to do it long term. Long term, it can be okay for more probably for men than women, but I guess eventually still it's not being in touch with that. And the whole, you're becoming extremely charismatic. You're definitely becoming the life of the party, and people really love, because you genuinely, you improve your sense of humor, you improve how you show up in the world. You're definitely more positive, and people are hanging out.
Well, you create a mask that is capable of it.
It is a mask. And the thing is as well, right? Eventually, initially, when you meet that person, wow, they're so great, they're charismatic. And I've seen that more and more. But eventually, when you start hanging out with them for a little bit longer, if you're switched on, which a lot of people now are more and more, you see through that, and you're thinking, you wonder, are you different actually? Are you changing at all when you get home? And then again, there's so many people who are actually not changing, and I was like that. But then sometimes something cracks through me, and then that mask, the real me pops in. But then again, it kind of covers back again. And with salespeople, a lot of you see, I can sense who has done sales for a long time, and unfortunately, you also see that person is not anchored in their core at all anymore. It just becomes who they are, and they actually don't know until they probably go to some sort of seminar, or some horrible thing will happen that actually cracks them open, or not. And that's a shame, because this most beautiful authenticity gets lost. And I've seen that more and more. I had people come into my company, and then unfortunately I had to leave the business, because I've seen the person who comes in and they're really genuine, they have their own funky style, and they're the way how they talk is different, and it's awesome, but then you see them at some point, they become the same. They become modeling someone, and it's usually someone in the company who is actually the top seller. Or each company has what I found, again, I might be completely wrong, and then it's just totally my perception. I'm open for hearing people's feedback about that as well, right? But what I've definitely observed, and I can argue that point a lot, because I've seen like each company has a little bit of a different flavor, I guess. And when the person comes in the company, that authenticity, that real, their unique personality gets slightly polished off to fit. Yes, they do become better at, like at communicating. Yes, their tonality, their body language becomes better. They're better presenters, right? But there is a level of authenticity and something real about them that gets slightly washed off, right? And however long they're going to be in sales, the longer they are, the more it gets washed off. And then after that, they're like, no, I'm just really that type of person. And then they start believing that this is who they really are. While watching it from a distance, and I guess, personal experience as well, watching it from a distance, you see how it's changing. And people who are meeting these people as well, they desire that authenticity to actually just forget about the tonalities, forget about the how it has to be sound, how you have to sound so you will get the desired outcome. But how do you want to sound at a time?
Exactly.
Natural. What is the tone of truth for you in that very moment?
In that very moment. And if you are tired, then it's going to be tired. If you're quiet, then it's quiet.
Need to come across a bit different because you will feel more real, but you can talk to customers about it. And actually these days, people die to hear that.
Yes, some truth about you. Yes, absolutely. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, long conversation. And we're going to have more conversation like that. We'll be sharing what is it we are all about, what we are teaching. We have opened up a new second term. We're accepting applications for the second term. It starts in September. The early birds prices are available, and it's not a scarcity mindset. We just want to reward people who are really interested to jump on with us, on the journey with us and the trainings with us. So we'll post the link, and yes, like our videos, join us, have conversations, message us, and we would love to chat more.